Now, live from the Patriot Detroit Radio Complex, this is the John McCulloch Show.
In Alabama, Chief Donald J. Trump, they're here because of you. They fear you. And they fear you because they understand you've had a belly full of it and you're taking your country back. And from the city of London to Beijing to the Gulf to Washington, D.C., Silicon Valley, Wall Street, they're nervous. And you know why they're nervous? They understand that you're the transmission of the best values of the Judeo-Christian West.
Now, here's John.
And welcome into our Tuesday edition of the McCulloch Show here on FM 101.5 and AM 1400, The Patriot. Glad you could join us for the fastest hour of local Detroit talk radio, where your host continues serving his life sentence in reality. Be advised, here all lives matter. There is no political correctness. There are no safe zones for the snowflakes. And if you can be triggered, you'll be triggered here. A couple things I want to throw in. Well, one thing I want to toss in. We're not going to talk about this, but I came across an article that I wanted to share with you, and I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to tell you what the gist of it is. The W.K. Kellogg Foundation and the Ford Foundation are sending millions of dollars to organizations such as the Center for Community Change, that's CCC, with the express purpose of targeting Donald Trump and his presidency. CCC is a Soros organization, one of the many organizations that today he transferred $18 billion to. He is serious about bringing down this president, and I question, I'm a very loyal Ford person. I've driven Ford products for the last 20 years. Wouldn't look at anything else. And the bailout convinced me totally when they refused it. And now I know the Ford Foundation is separate. The Ford Foundation is full of a bunch of leftists. But doesn't the Ford family have anything to say about it? I don't know. Just asking. Serious subject. Tonight at 9 o'clock on the Sean Hannity Show on Fox News, you're going to see in great detail the proof of all of the allegations made in Peter Schweitzer's book, Clinton Cash. Proof of the collusion of the Clinton family and Attorney General at the time, Eric Holder, and, of course, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton at the time. Proof that they colluded with a criminal bribery and extortion scheme with the Russians to transfer 20% of our uranium supply to the Russians, and people got wealthy on both sides of the ocean in this, including many in the United States, including many people in Congress, including I don't know who else. Here's my point. If all of this is proven in a court of law, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, and Attorney General Eric Holder, former Attorney General Eric Holder, would quite probably go to prison. This is a big deal. This is the collusion with the Russians that was going on. And I have a question. Kind of philosophical, so bear with me. But I think it's important. Because once the mainstream media cannot ignore this story anymore, and once the government hopefully can't ignore the story anymore, some things are going to be done. This is what Mueller should be working on, not Trump's collusion with the Russians, this one. But of course he won't do it. He's a close friend of the Clinton family. But I digress. Here's my question. All this happened, and it looks as though it did. I mean, it's there in black and white. And Eric Holder purposely sat on it for 4 years by simply continuing the investigation, and you can't release things on a continuing investigation. The investigation came to fruition in 2010. They knew. But he kept it going, doing nothing but kept it going on the books, so the information couldn't come out. If this stuff is all true and out on the table, should Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, and Eric Holder be prosecuted? Or would this be another colossal waste of money? And would it make the country look bad across the world? Or should we, at some time, and why not now, say enough is enough? Even though you're out of office, even though the only thing that we would have to gain, spending millions and millions of dollars for the prosecution, the only thing we would have to gain would be justice, in that you might go to prison. Should we, for the sake of letting the world know that we are not just a big ATM for any group of crooks that comes along, should we do the prosecution? Because the evidence is there, folks. You'll see it tonight if you watch it. You can read about it right now at Breitbart News, and you can also read about it if you just Google it. There's numerous articles on it in the international press and also in some locals. But based on what I've told you, that they are guilty of collusion, bribery, complicity, everything, all the things that's been said, should they be prosecuted? Or should we save that money, do something else with it, and just let it go till the next person pulls it? 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. You can also reach me via text on the WDTK mobile app. Just go to the App Store on your smartphone and search WDTK, download it, install it, open it up, and there's lots of features in there that you'll like. You can listen to all the Patriot hosts. You can listen to their podcasts. You can listen to me. You can hear the McCulloch Minutes. And there's a feature on there, if you scroll down on the menu, that says Text John McCulloch. And for those of you who are watching on Facebook, it comes in right here to this screen in real time. I get them like bang, just like that. There's no waiting. And the texts come in. I read them. You can't see them, but I can. And it's a good thing that you can if you have children in the room. Some people get a little bit off the wall. Anyway, I read every one that comes in. So the two ways to get a hold of me, 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. I'm going to tell you where I come down on this thing. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of people coming in to administrations, robbing us blind. We still don't know where the 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 warehouses full of aspirin we keep ordering every year through the Pentagon. We don't know where that stuff goes. It's stored somewhere. And are we still printing all those silly little metal dollars? As of 2 weeks ago, we were taking them in by the shovelful and putting them somewhere. All this waste, all this corruption. Do you think that if we prosecute the Clintons and prosecute Eric Holder, that we bring this thing to at least they'll have somebody else that gets tempted to do it will have something to look at and say, maybe we should come up with a better idea, perhaps even a legal idea. $500,000 for a speech. Pardon me, $500 million. $500 million. What's with that? Or was it 500,000? Whatever it was ridiculous. The point I'm making is this worth prosecuting, or do we let it lie, save the money, and move on? 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. Here's Randy in Detroit on the Patriot. Hey, Randy.
Hey, John. Well, as you know, this kind of talk show fodder never borne any fruit. We had $9 million, 7 investigations in the Benghazi. Same thing just happened just recently in Niger, where American soldiers were killed. They were ambushed. They didn't get any support. They called it in. Nothing will be heard from you guys on the right because you don't really like soldiers. You just like raising hell. That's all you. Most of these things that you allege will come to some sort of fruition with indictments rarely does. Because most of it's just nonsense to distract us from things like the drug czar that Trump just had to step down because he had put forward legislation that makes it easier for the drug companies to sell OxyContin to people. And he put that legislation, and he got paid for it.
But he did step down.
After criticism. But he was picked by Trump, who still says he's a very nice guy.
Are you going to enjoy your tax cut, Randy? Are you looking forward to it?
It's a tax cut for rich people. It's not a tax cut.
He said the thing that got me to hang up on him. I just knew I could bait him into doing it. Tax cut for rich people. Where did you go to school? 800-923, and I'm afraid to ask that, actually. I don't want an answer. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. We're discussing the FBI report. The FBI report that has uncovered the fact that all that we've heard about the Clinton and Eric Holder uranium deal is true. It happened. All that stuff in Peter Schweitzer's book, Clinton Cash, is true. It happened. Now, my question, for the good of the country and our image and saving some money, do we let it ride? Or do we prosecute these people and say enough is enough and let's at least give the next person that thinks they're going to try to do something like this a chance to maybe think it over after looking at what happened to the Clintons? Clearly, there is no couple in American history that deserves to be in jail more than the Clintons. And Eric Holder, the number of illegal things he did, including Fast and Furious and Lord knows what else, well, he deserves to be in jail too. But do we do it? You want to see it done. And to think she was almost president. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. John McCulloch Show, FM 101.5, AM 1400, The Patriot. Wise man once told me, he says, if you want to make a lot of money, find somebody who has and then ask them how they did it. And then do what they did. Well, Online Trading Academy has amassed an extremely impressive list of people from all over the country who make their living from the stock market, whether it goes down or whether it goes up. And those people are contracted and come in from all over the country to teach the students at Online Trading Academy exactly what they do. It's not a hotel seminar thing where you go for one day and then you get all psyched up and then they want you to buy all kinds of tapes and everything else. This is a campus, one of 40 campuses that they have throughout the country. We're lucky to have one here in Detroit. They've got one in Dallas. They got one in Singapore, one in Dubai, all over the world. An Online Trading Academy has a way for you to find out, free of charge, whether or not you want to be taught by these experts from all professionals, professional traders from all over the country. It's an investment and trading meeting that takes place at Online Trading Academy. It's totally free of charge, and we call it a power trading workshop. And here's the number to call for the next one, and I strongly urge you to do it. What better well, I'm not going to go into that. I'll cover that some other time. 844-250-8723. That's 844-250-8723 to reserve your spot. And again, remember, it's free. Or simply go to the John McCulloch page at patriotdetroit.com, and that'll link you right to that number. That's 844-250-8723. Strongly recommend that you go, especially if you're, well, I'll cover that next time too. Just remember to tell them at Online Trading Academy that John McCulloch sent you.
Now, on-time traffic and weather on the Patriot.
Gratiot northbound before I-94, an accident in the right lane. 696 eastbound between Woodward and I-75. The left lane is closed, slowing traffic from Evergreen. I-75 southbound between Big Beaver and Rochester Road. The right lane closed for construction. Traffic is slow from Crooks. West Grand Boulevard between I-96 and Grand River Avenue is closed. That's scheduled through November 6th. Greenfield both ways between 9 Mile and 696 down to one lane for concrete slab replacement work going on there. We have slowdowns, usual spots, 75 northbound between Warren Avenue and 11 Mile. I-75 northbound heavy between University Drive and Jocelyn Road as well. And 94 eastbound between Ann Arbor-Saline Road and State Street over by Ann Arbor is heavy. The weather forecast tonight, clear, low around 45. Wednesday, sunny with a high near 71. Wednesday night, clear, low around 50. Right now, 67 degrees. I'm Kevin Sanderson on the Patriot, FM 101.5 at AM 1400.
A public adjuster is a person who is licensed by the state of Michigan to help you get the best settlement possible when you have a property insurance claim at your home or business. AzerTech public adjusters are the top, in my opinion, and there are times that insurance companies can deny claims. They say you don't have the coverage for that. Are you sure you're covered for everything that you need to be covered? Are there things that you can look for in your policy, key words, buzzwords, trigger words, if you will, that would make you want to find out more? The answer is yes, and AzerTech's happy to talk to you about them. Take a look at your small print. See if there's any mention of sewer backup or mold exclusions or matching or code upgrades or landlord-tenant relationships. Those are just a few of them. You see anything in your small print like that, you need to give AzerTech a call, and they're happy to talk to you. It's free of charge. But you should have their number on your refrigerator or in your desk at work, because your first call in the event you've got a claim and event disaster hits should be to AzerTech, not to your insurance company. They will step in and take care of it for you. 855-CLAIM-55. That's 855-CLAIM-55. 855-CLAIM-55 for AzerTech Public Adjusters, and please let them know John McCulloch sent you.
The John McCulloch Show is brought to you in part by Dr. Richard Klein at the Michigan Head and Neck Institute.
We are discussing whether or not Hillary and Bill Clinton and Eric Holder should be prosecuted for their Russian collusion, bribery, involvement in all kinds of nefarious acts going on for years in the Clinton or the Russian uranium deal. Now the FBI has uncovered confirmation of her corrupt uranium deal with Russia, and it's all going to come out. And you can tune in tonight at 9 and see it on Sean Hannity, or you can just wait for it to break on other news services, but they can't hold this one back. It's too big. Now, when it's all out there, my question is, for the good of the country, should we just sort of forget about it and, let sleeping dogs lie, or should we prosecute and ultimately run the risk of having them convicted and sent to prison? And that's Hillary and Bill and Eric Holder. Interesting question, because it would cost a ton of money to prosecute them. A ton. And if it's a jury trial, well, then, quite frankly, any good attorney will tell you it's a crapshoot. You got a 50-50 chance. Gary in Hazel Park, you're next on the Patriot. Go ahead.
Pardon me, John. Yeah, I'm all for the prosecution of those people because That's the only way we're going to make America great again. Until we can prosecute our way draining the swamp, because the swamp is full of people who are prosecutable. That would be the best way to clean the conscience of our nation so we can be proud again of this nation. Because right now, our political system is so corrupt and full of graft that it's disgusting, That's one of the things I'm ashamed of my country for, is because the political system has got so bad you can't trust anybody. There's only a handful of guys up there I trust, and I do want these guys prosecuted. You know it.
Chrissy from St. Clair Shores points out, Gary, that the Clintons and Obama and Soros have colluded to blame on Trump and his supporters everything that they have actually done.
Yeah, well, that's their MO for a long time. They call us what they are. It's weird, but they get away with it.
Thanks for the call, Gary.
All right, brother.
Have yourself a great night. Here's Tom in Royal Oak on the Patriot. Hi, Tom. Go ahead.
Hi, Mr. McCulloch. Yeah, thank you. And I enjoy the show every night. And I wasn't too surprised. One night someone mentioned you had been connected with Mark Scott going way back, because that's where I got into this. I was brought up in Detroit, union member, all blue collar, whole family, and indoctrinated. The Republicans hate us. The Democrats will save you. And it took some re-education and some research. But to me, it's one party there. McConnell is showing you that. Ryan is showing you that. McCain is showing you that. There's a party in there that's sticking money in their pockets, all of them. And you have to draw a line. And if you go back to the mythology, what's his name? Hercules cleaned out the horse stable. You take out a shovel at a time and start shoveling with this, because I'm sick to death of it. Honest to God, I am.
Yeah,
I want to have a country for my grandchildren. I'm pretty okay. It looks like I'm set till I'm out of here, but I want it left for my grandchildren and your grandchildren.
Yeah, I do too, Tom. And as Mark would have said, I'm very glad that you checked your premises and made the switch. Because
he was great. I miss him. He's missed. But
I miss him too.
Thank you for carrying on, and all the other folks like you. And one other quick thing. I think that the other time I called you guys was just prior to the election, about this time last year, and I never thought Trump would make it, and I think we prayed his way in. And I don't know if God does the trivia of our lives, but I think America might be worth saving. And if a backslid Catholic school kid like me can start praying again, I think it couldn't hurt. And it's not a personal thing with Hillary, but boy, with those pictures of her and that Weinstein character yucking it up, and Obama and that Weinstein, it's like, I couldn't think of a nicer bunch to go to jail.
Hey, Tom, if you backslid as far as you started praying again, you might want to try going to Mass. Who knows?
It couldn't hurt. I don't think they'd lock the door on me over there.
Never. That would not happen. That's not what it's all about. Thanks for your call, Tom. Thank you for listening. Don't be a stranger. I appreciate your being with us. Here's Jim in Wyandotte on the Patriot. Hi, Jim. Go ahead.
Hey, John. I think you absolutely should prosecute them. I think you drag them through the mud, and at the very end, so they can escape prison, you have them admit fully everything they did. Then Trump can pardon them, because there's really no point in imprisoning a former president. I mean, it's just, that wouldn't be worth it. But you make it clear that these people admit what they did, and then what you really do is you fine them. And you fine them more than any money they could possibly have, and they could spend the rest of their lives doing $500,000 speeches, and all of it can go for reparations for what they did.
Jim, it's really interesting. That's exactly not the part about the reparations and the speeches, but the convict him and then have President Trump pardon him was my wife's first reaction. So you're in good company, my friend.
Appreciate it, man. You do a great job.
Thanks for your call. Appreciate your being with us tonight here on the program. Here's Roy in Miles City, Montana. Roy?
Yeah, John, I have laryngitis. Pardon me for that. But I also feel that they should be indicted and prosecuted. Otherwise, I mean, what's the point of us having a legal system in this country?
I've been asking that question for some time, since nobody seems to pay any attention. Even it's trickled down now, as it always does. The NFL has strict rules against what's going on, and nobody even brought it up. They're not allowed to do what they're doing. this kneeling and all that during the anthem. It's in the rules. They signed. I mean, they know this. Nobody brought it up. They're talking about having a meeting and making a new rule that they can't kneel. They've already got it. It's already there. So, yeah, I like your idea.
John, if I may, I'd like to point out that designee that Donald Trump had appointed was he was the leader of getting that bill passed, but that bill was passed bipartisan in the House and Senate during Barack Obama's presidency.
And he knows that, and he just calls up here to try to get me riled up, and then, sometimes it works and sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes I have to bait him into something that'll, get me to hang up on him.
Well, there's a lot of these things like this that people just aren't hearing on the mainstream news media,
right,
such as that. All they're hearing is that Donald Trump has nominated this guy to be a cabinet member. Or
President Obama signed that bill.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's all we need to know. Thanks for listening out in Montana, and we appreciate your call.
Thank you, John. Love your show.
Thank you so much for listening. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. All right, Ken in D.C., you hang on. Mystery caller, you hang on. And if you're not in line, we jammed up right at the beginning, there's an opportunity here, and that's all I'm going to say. Here on FM 101.5 and AM 1400, The Patriot. Dr. Richard Klein is a specially educated neuromuscular dentist with over 30 years' experience managing TMJ and sleep apnea disorders at the Michigan Head and Neck Institute. Dr. Klein will be here Thursday. That's day after tomorrow, right after this show, and we'll have another issue of Getting Out of the Pain Lane. Looking forward to that. Dr. Klein comes in and talks about symptoms and experiences that he's had during the last 30 days prior to, from his last show. And a very interesting program, and I do hope that you'll tune in. So many things happen in the development of our knowledge of TMJ disorder and sleep apnea that you never know what he's going to divulge. And you can find out, though, because he keeps his webpage very up to date at tmjmichigan.com. That's tmjmichigan.com. We pay that a lot of attention to that website because the symptoms of TMJ and sleep apnea can mimic so many other ailments, and all the ones we know about are listed right there at tmjmichigan.com. So for two reasons, go there. Number one, to remind you to tune into the program Thursday, and number two, to check to see if some of the symptoms there match symptoms that you've got that you haven't been able to get taken care of. And if that's the case, then all the information you need to book an evaluation appointment with Dr. Richard Klein at the Michigan Head and Neck Institute is right there at tmjmichigan.com, and be sure and let him know John McCulloch sent you.
Now, on-time traffic, news, and weather on The Patriot.
I-696 eastbound before Groesbeck, there's an accident blocking two lanes. The two right lanes, emergency crews are on the scene. Traffic is slow from Mound. Crash at northbound before I-94, that accident cleared. I-696 eastbound between Woodward and I-75, the left lane closed. Traffic slow from M10. I-75 southbound between Big Beaver and Rochester Road, the right lane closed for construction. Traffic is slow from Crooks. West Grand Boulevard between I-96 and Grand River closed through November 6th. DeQuinder Road between Square Lake Road and Burning Bush Drive, that's closed for construction going on through November 15th. Greenfield both ways between 9 Mile and I-696 down to one lane for concrete slab replacement. That work continues in that location. Your weather forecast tonight, clear with a low around 45. Wednesday, sunny with a high near 71. Wednesday night, clear, a low around 50. Right now, it's 67 degrees. From the townhall.com newsroom, the city of Detroit will be submitting their bid to secure the second North American headquarters for Amazon this week. The company set Thursday as the deadline for bids on the project, which is expected to bring 50,000 new jobs and billions in investment to the community they choose. The Detroit proposal was put together by a team headed by Quicken Loans founder and chairman Dan Gilbert. All of the proposals will be kept confidential by Amazon, who will announce the winning city in 2018. Sears Holding Corporation has announced another Kmart store in Metro Detroit will be closing. Officials say the St. Clair Shores store on Harper Avenue at 9 Mile Road will be shutting down in January of 2018. The store joins a list of 180 Kmart and Sears stores that have been shut down this year, including locations in Garden City, Plymouth, Roseville, Waterford, Westland, and Shelby Township. The site in St. Clair Shores will be demolished and a new Kroger supermarket will be built there. I'm Kevin Sanderson on the Patriot, FM 101.5 and AM 1400.
MotorCityHelpWanted.com salutes the employee of the month, the one employee you can't live without. The others, let's just call them Dave.
Dave, are you stealing from the vending machine?
No, Mr. Employee of the Month.
Well, your desk is littered with like hundreds of snacks.
I merely exposed a loophole by reaching my arm through the flap thingy. Does that sound like stealing to you?
Yes.
Granola bar?
If you don't mind hiring Daves, go to the national job boards. They may be free, but trust us, they'll cost you. We make it easy to post a job, and it's local, so you won't get spammed by faraway job seekers. MotorCityHelpWanted.com. Local jobs that work.
The John McCulloch Show is brought to you in part by Online Trading Academy.
800-923-9385 is our number here at FM 101.5 and AM 1400, The Patriots. When all is said and done, should the Clintons and Eric Holder be prosecuted and possibly sent to prison for their involvement in this Russian uranium collusion, bribery, extortion, you name it? It's all in there. It's all in the FBI report. Somebody over there had, I'm not sure exactly how it worked, but there's some people at the FBI with some pretty red faces right now. They did not want this report out. Here's Ken in Shelby Township on the Patriot. Hey, Ken.
You know, John, I'm really getting sick and tired of watching these people skate. You may remember what happened during the Whitewater investigations that happened before. Ken Starr took a dive. He left and ran to Pepperdine University and left everything up to a guy named Robert Ray to do the final report. Robert Ray looked at a loan called Castle Grande, said that the loan was bad. In fact, it led to the closing of Madison Guaranty. It was a fraudulent loan, but the smartest person in the world who did all the legal paperwork, Hillary Rodham Clinton, didn't know what she was doing. What's so ridiculous about that is there was a program on public broadcasting called Once Upon a Time in Arkansas. In that program, the loan officer, a guy by the name of Don Denton, did not want to sign that loan, but he was pressured by Jim McDougal to sign the loan. He was asked by the reporter, what did you do next? Well, I called Hillary Clinton, the lawyer at the Rose Law Firm who was doing the paperwork, and I protested this loan is not going to pass muster of federal bank examiners. What she did was she blew me off. She says, don't worry about it. It's all taken care of. You mean to tell me that Robert Ray and Ken Starr didn't know that? Didn't hear Don Denton's testimony? You cannot watch that program, which I made a copy of. I made the complete video without coming to the conclusion that both of those people belong in orange prison jumpsuits, and the only thing that keeps their marriage together is husbands and wives don't testify against each other. This whole thing with this family makes me sick.
Ken, I don't think you're alone. And it isn't a political thing. At least it isn't for me. To me, it's an embarrassment to the country. And that is, if they were Republicans, I would say the same thing. Appreciate your call. Thanks for the heads up on that program. Also, I think I'm going to take a look at it. Appreciate your call, and it's very interesting that it aired on PBS. I wonder how they got away with that. Here's DC in Royal Oak on the Patriot. Hi, DC.
How you doing, John?
Doing well, thanks.
A couple of comments. I feel like our people have fallen asleep, and I think the cause of that is socialism. Socialism's a sedative. It lulls people to sleep like a siren song. Government, as I've experienced it, is corrupt at all levels. It's really a corrupt criminal enterprise, or run as a corrupt criminal enterprise for the benefit of the local folks who are in charge, all the way to the top. We're seeing that with the Clintons. My answer to your question, is I go back and forth between giving them what Marie Antoinette enjoyed there at the end and working the Clintons and hold her to death on a chain gang. So that's what I would do with them.
Well, I don't think either one of those two things could happen, but I'm assuming that is a metaphorical way of saying prosecute them.
Oh, I would prosecute them, and I would punish them.
Did you, by the way, hear that I don't know if you heard about Leon Podesta's ills. He's been parking money for years offshore. I don't know if it's in the Caymans or wherever it is. You know, he's pretty nasty.
I don't doubt it. Isn't he from Petaluma, California?
Yeah, he's a nasty character. He's managed a couple of Clinton campaigns and so forth. And the woman who broke the story, she was killed in a car bomb. Now
that's close to 100 of them involved with Clintons. Yeah.
Yeah, and a car bomb, unlike a heart attack or a suicide, is pretty hard to deny. Somebody wanted that person killed. That's just thought I'd bring it up, just so you know. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. Do we prosecute the Clintons and Eric Holder or not? This FBI report is now out. It's confirmed. Confirmation completely of the corruption, extortion, bribery, collusion, and everything else that was involved in the uranium deal, that Uranium One deal with Russia, which landed Vladimir Putin 20% of the uranium in the United States of America. You know, uranium, that stuff they use to make fission and fusion bombs. Yeah, that's the same stuff that they use. And I heard her answer a question. I didn't even have to sign off on that because I wasn't Secretary of State. I mean, she said that on a nationwide news show. Total lie. She did sign off on it. She had to. She was Secretary of State at the time. And at that same time then, Bill Clinton got his $500,000 for 1 hour speech. What was it, 3 days later after it was signed? I believe that I'm correct on that. Now, I'm not 100% sure. Up next is Rob and Troy on the Patriot. Hi, Rob.
Hi, John. Yeah, they definitely need to be prosecuted. Also, too, I believe the actual definition for treason is aiding or giving comfort to the enemy. So that's, giving 20% of our uranium to make nuclear weapons, that would be aiding the enemy, yes. So, anyway, that's all I had to say, John.
Appreciate the call, Rob. Have yourself a great night.
You too.
Thank you. Here's John and Novi on the Patriot. Hi, John.
Hi, how are you tonight?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. Yeah, I think they should be prosecuted, too. And if they can't nail them in a federal court, I don't know what you can get them on a state charge. I don't care, or a civil lawsuit on behalf of, anything from the Tea Party to, there's got to be some way, even if it's just harassing them. Being a thorn in their side. There's got to be some way, you may not have the satisfaction of seeing them sitting in a jail cell, but if you make their lives miserable enough by having to face these things, then their $500,000 speeches, the money they bank from that's going to go rather quickly. So, I would think.
Yeah.
And I got one question to ask you. Somebody referred to Mark earlier.
Yeah.
Were you talking about, and he'll be missed, are we talking about Mark Levin?
No, Mark Scott.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, it's, I hate to say this, John, it's probably before your time.
Well, I don't know about that.
No, maybe not. You just may not have been a listener to talk radio then. Appreciate the call. I'm going to do something now that I don't normally do, but you've seen me do it before, and I'm going to do it again. Switching subjects for the last segment of the program completely. They say you shouldn't do that in talk radio, and I say bananas, you folks who make those kinds of statements and rules. You don't know my audience. They're very capable of doing this. They can walk and chew gum at the same time. The BBC has a PSA out now, and it's encouraging citizens of Great Britain, it's a black guy doing it, encouraging citizens of Great Britain to start kneeling and protesting during the playing of anthems at soccer games. They are doing this to protest racism and stand with their sports mates in the USA because of their denied free speech. I want your reaction. I'm not giving you any reaction of mine until the end of the program. I want your reaction. Now, this is a BBC. This is a government-owned broadcast outlet that's got a PSA urging people who play soccer and who watch soccer to kneel during the playing of any anthems, to stand in unity with their friends in the United States, their brothers, their mates in the United States, as they call them, protesting racism and the denial of free speech to NFL players. Your reaction, please. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. I want to see some calls on this. This whole thing has just gotten, it's completely out of hand. One thing you may want to do is come up with a suggestion as how to stop this before it becomes... I mean, there's nobody there to argue the other side, is there? I guess we'll find out if they have free speech in Great Britain. FM 101.5, AM 1400, The Patriot. I heard another talk host talking about hearing problems today, and it was one of the interesting things about it is that hearing problems are probably the only malady that you can have where the people who perceive you consider it to be your fault. Like, if you try a little bit harder, you could hear better, that kind of thing. And that just isn't the case. And folks at Cruise Hearing know that. And they know also how hard it is for you to come in for the first time. We've attended many functions with the Cruise family and watched Felix. And when he makes these cracks at the beginning of some of these get-togethers, he says, I've never been in a room with so many people who didn't want to be here. Thanks for coming. And it always gets a good chuckle. But it's true. There's a stigma attached to hearing that is weird. I don't understand it. And I don't understand it even though I had it. I don't have it now, but I did. And I had to be dragged kicking and screaming. But when I did go, and I got my ears measured, not the size of them, but the amount of hearing in each one, and then got it corrected, let me tell you, my life changed. Now, not everybody will do that. But at least you can find out. And you can rest assured one thing, my promise to you, you will not be given the hard sell as you are at so many other places that you go to. It's not what they do. They want you to have the information that you need to make a decision, the correct information. 2 locations, Downriver and Farmington Hills, same number for both. 877-456-2789. That's 877-456-2789, 877-456-CRUISE, and please let them know you heard about it from John McCulloch.
Now, on-time traffic and weather on the Patriot.
I-696 eastbound before Groesbeck, an accident blocking the 2 right lanes. Traffic slow from Mound. I-94 eastbound before I-696, an accident in the left lane. Police are on the scene. It's slow from 8 Mile. I-696 eastbound between Woodward and I-75. The left lane closed for construction. It's slowing from Greenfield. I-75 southbound between Big Beaver and Rochester Road, the right lane closed for construction. Not as much of a backup as we had, but it's still slow traffic. West Grand Boulevard between I-96 and Grand River is closed through November 6th for construction. Greenfield both ways between 9 Mile and I-696 down to one lane for concrete slab replacement. That work continues there. Your weather forecast tonight: clear with a low around 45. Wednesday, sunny with a high near 71. Wednesday night, clear, a low around 50. Right now, it's 67 degrees. We check traffic and weather 4 times an hour. I'm Kevin Sanderson on the Patriot, FM 101.5 and AM 1400.
In promoting her book, Hillary Clinton condemns sex abuse in the Oval Office. No, not by her husband, but by President Trump. Is that a good idea? And one of America's most popular musical artists leads a cheering concert crowd in the cheer, F. Donald Trump. It's supposed to be a work of art. Another music business scandal? We'll get to it next time on the Medved Show.
Michael Medved, weekday evenings at 7 on The Patriot. The John McCulloch Show is sponsored in part by Azertech Public Adjusters.
We're talking briefly about the folks in Great Britain who have put out a PSA, a public service announcement on the BBC, produced by the BBC, urging soccer players to kneel in unity with their mates over here in the United States, protesting racism and the lack of freedom of speech in the United States for our black athletes. And now it's spread to the soccer. Now they're probably going to spread it to the Olympics. You know, if there's ever a place that is not racist, it's sports. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what color you are or what language you speak. If you can perform and perform better than those around you, you're a winner. And what an awful place to desecrate with useless protests. It's infuriating. 800-923-9385. Got time to take a few more calls. Here's John in Garden City on the Patriot. Hi, John.
Actually, it's Tom, John. How are you?
I'm fine, Tom. How you doing?
Oh, I'm just infuriated. I am first-generation American to 2 Scottish parents, and I can tell you right now that those 2 lovely people are rolling over in their grave as we speak. This is just gone ape. I don't know what else to say. It's a steaming pile of horse manure, John. That's all it is. This is nobody's denying these people freedom of speech. People are denying them. Sorry, I got to collect myself.
I understand, because when
they're in their workplace, you know, I'm not allowed to make political protests in my workplace. This is their workplace. Nobody's been denying anybody anything. These prima donnas make millions upon millions of dollars and have platforms that we could only dream of as being regular people. And they're using their workplace to create a political statement. This is horse manure.
Well, John, I happen to agree with you. But
that's all I have to say.
Right.
I'm of a very British family, and I know how my parents would be.
Thank you, John, for your call. Appreciate it.
Have a great night.
You do the same. It's interesting to me that athletics, I mean, what's next? And what's the end game? What is the end game of all this? Somebody tell me. What do they want? What could be done to get things back the way they were? What could be done to stop this? And I'm not talking about regulatory stopping it or anything like that. I'm saying, what behavioral changes could take place to get this stuff to stop and give us back our sporting events, sans the drama, sans the protest, sans the anger. And let us get back to sports. And Tom was right. They're doing this to their workplace. There's something about that. There's a saying there.
What a great time for the change in the seasons. And finally, we have some damper, cooler weather. But you know what's even cooler than that, though not necessarily damp? The results you get when you use Ovation Cell Therapy treatment for your hair.
Finally, I've tried nearly every hair product out there and spent hundreds of wasted dollars. But I finally found something that really works. I'm going to save you the heartache I went through and highly recommend Ovation Cell Therapy.
You should start with the amazing Ovation Cell Therapy treatment, but also explore all their products, from volumizing products to moisturizing remedies to color protection formulas. There will be a product that's just right for your type of hair. All you have to do is go to ovationhair.com and select MedVed in the survey at checkout for a special new customer discount and a free shipping offer for a limited time. Get details at ovationhair.com. Remember to select MedVed when you check out for your special new customer discount. Hurry, the free shipping offer ends soon. That's ovationhair.com.
If you want to get a MyPillow, and I'm sure you do, the way to do it is very simple. You go to MyPillow.com and use promo code WDTK. You're going to get buy one, get one free. That's MyPillow.com, promo code WDTK. You'll get 2 MyPillows for the price of 1. You know you want it. Do it tonight. And you, too, can start sleeping the way nature intended.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Promo code WDTK. Here's Pam in St. Clair Shores on the Patriot. Hi, Pam.
Hi, John. The kneeling in front of the flag and before the anthem goes along with the mantra of white privilege. And that's very frustrating to me because there's been affirmative action for almost 60 years now. So that would be, in my opinion, considered minority privilege. And that mantra of white privilege isn't going away anytime soon. It's on the radio all day long. And like I said, there's been affirmative action for almost 60 years, but nobody's mentioning that. And the way to stop it, how are you going to stop it when Soros just put $18 billion into not stopping it, to keeping it going?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It's one thing to do it at an NFL game where your audience is, I'm talking about the in-stadium audience, is, to some degree pretty well behaved. But have you ever seen the hooligans that go to soccer matches? Have you ever seen what happens when they explode, when they get mad?
Oh, yes.
I have a feeling that whoever organized this thing at the BBC is going to be less than pleased that they did
I hope you're right.
I think
that would be fun. Now, that would be kind of fun.
Yes, it would. Pam, thanks for your call. Thanks to Jason Fissler for doing the studio technician duties tonight. This program is produced by Steve Dealey, even when he's not here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for calling. Thank you for texting, and thank you for watching. I'm reminded that Trump promised she'd go to jail, and he hasn't lied yet. I'm John McCulloch. Have as good a night as you can.
The John McCulloch Show is sponsored in part by Dr. Richard Klein of Michigan Head and Neck, Greg Chiropractic Life Center, Azer Tech Public Adjusters, Cruise Hearing Aid Centers, and Online Trading Academy. The John McCulloch Show on the new FM 101.5 and AM 1400.
My career is over. I am making a horse's assets of myself.
The Patriot.
I'm Lon Heechen of the Hoover Institution for Townhall.com. So far this year, Republicans in Washington have been unable to fulfill their promise to repeal and replace Obamacare.